Hello you guys, I'm Fabio Hart coming back with another video. What I want to talk about in this video is dealing with employees and dealing with subcontractors, okay? And it's going to be, quite a different stance that I'm going to take on this video. And it's in regards to hiring, firing, and also being very strategic who you hire, okay? So it's not about just hiring anybody. I tell people that all the time. I always say you should have more applications coming in than you have positions, right? Because when you have more positions than you have people, then you tend to hire on impulse. You hire on like, I need somebody right now. So whoever put in the application, you're more prone to hire them, right? You want to get out of that stage. You don't want to be putting yourself in a position like that because, again, you're hiring on impulse. Okay, so what you want to have is more applications coming in than you have contracts or than you have accounts. Okay, so as you pick up new accounts, you already have a stack of applications ready to go. Perhaps some of the people you've already interviewed, some you may want to interview, right? But at least you have a stash of applications to work from. Now, me saying that, you need to set up a hiring system, okay? A hiring system. So many people, they hire in different ways. They got this employee, they want to just pay this employee 1099. They got this employee, they just want to do W-2s. You want to have a set structure, okay? Either you're going to 1099 and have subcontractors, or you're going to have W-2 employees, right? Where you take taxes, employee taxes, etc., etc. Okay? Now, some people ask me, Fabio, what's the best way to do it when you're first starting out? In the beginning, I was just paying a check. I spoke about this before and I'll speak about it now. I was just paying a check because I didn't know what I didn't know, right? So I know I needed somebody, I needed the help. So I hired one or two people that I had for the longest time ever, right? So as I picked up contracts, I kind of delegated out to different people, including myself. So it was me and two other people that was working. Okay, then once I started picking up more contracts, making more revenue, right, I might pick up another body or two, right? But I always had applications coming in. So that's what I suggest that you guys do, okay? It's paramount that you do that. Now, both employees and subcontractors, and the reason I'm doing this video, because, excuse the wind guys, it's kind of high, but the reason I'm doing this video right now is because I received the email last night that I personally checked, surprisingly, because I really don't check the emails, you guys know that, but I personally checked and I read the email, and it was about someone, they hired an employee, they try to take the contract from them or whatever the case is, okay? So you don't want to put yourself in a position where someone's taking contracts from you. Someone, they try to slide under you, try to steal your accounts, try to steal, the techniques or whatever the case is. You do not share a lot of information with the employees, right? You got to think of it like your employer, right? You have a supervisor, the big man or whatever the case is, whoever the corporate owners or whatever the case is, right? You don't know the intricate details of how your company that you work for work. I mean, you might study, you know what they do, you know what the revenues is for the year, whatever the case is. What their evaluation is or whatever the case is. You might know certain little things, but you don't know the little kinks and bits, the intricate details of how the operation works, right? You was hired to be a customer service rep, and that's what you're doing. You're there to pick up the phones and make the calls go out. You're there to stock the shelves, right? You're there to sell the shoes or whatever the case is. You know what it is that you're hired for. Again, so training is paramount. That's how you're able to keep the contracts. Fabio, how do I keep the contracts for people? Training the people, okay? That's why I tell a lot of people to work 30 to 60 days in themselves and then put a body in there. It just made sense for me. No one ever told me to do that. It just made sense for me because I'm thinking like, well, if I don't know how to clean a building, how the hell am I gonna train somebody else to know how to clean a building, right? So I want to get familiar with the place. I want to know where you put this, where you put that, what happened if this happened, what you do, who you call, who you contact, right? I wanted to know all of these things in the beginning. So in order for me to know them, I had to put myself in the position to know it, right? I had to work in the building. I had to work in a facility. So many of you have jobs, right? And I hear it all the time, even people in my coaching, they have jobs. They say, Fabio, I don't want to be a part of it. I just want to run the administration part. I want to get the contracts. I just want to put people in there. Now, I do know people. I got one guy that's in Canada right now. He's part of my coaching. He's in Canada, and all he does is just hire straight in, right? So when he pick up a contract, his whole thing is to go ahead and put a body in there, right? I'm like, dude, do you know how to run it? Do you? But whatever he does, it works. It works for him. but the vast majority of us won't be able to do that, right? We just won't be able to do it, right? It might work for some people, but it's not going to work for all. Okay, so again, make sure that you have employment systems or hiring systems, firing systems. Okay, the way we're living now, people are more prone to blow your head off just for hiring. You know, we in this whole pandemic, we in everything, right? Everything, the country is in shambles. We're going through a lot. The last thing you want is to think you really fire somebody and you didn't let them down easy, right? You don't want to be too rough on them, right? You let them down easy, you give them a chance, right? If you like them, you give them a chance, right? This all is part of your system. Just saying you're fired, you know, we don't need you no more. Really, you got to forget that you helping people sustain their lifestyle or sustain their household, right? With the income that you provide through your business. So the last thing you want to think is everything is all gravy and all of this and that, right? So there's protocols that you want to take, okay? Because you can fire somebody today, you know, it may have been a bad week, somebody getting their family caught COVID or whatever the case is, and you fire somebody and then they come back at the site and blow your brains out, right? Or they come back and vandalize your car, or whatever the case is, right? So again, that's why I tell people, don't be too friendly, but definitely be approachable. I'm gonna say that again, don't be too friendly, but definitely be approachable. Don't go taking beers with the employees or your subcontractors, okay? But still have an open door policy where they be able to contact you in the event they have to, right? Because anything can pop up, anything can happen, okay? So that's part one of what I want to talk about with the video, but the midst of this email that I want to talk about is paperwork, okay? It's paperwork. You have to have the paperwork together on all levels. Contracts, agreements, non-disclosure, whatever the case is, subcontractors agreement, all of that stuff. You have to have the paper. It's paramount, guys. It's paramount. No one, even I had somebody in the coaching, they say, hey Fabio, I just needed to count. I did a handshake agreement. I say, fuck that, put them on paper, right? Because if something happened, it's gonna be their word against yours, right? The judge is gonna ask you, why didn't you have this person sign an agreement? Do you know typically in your line of business that people sign agreements or contracts, right? Well, I don't know. He seemed straight up. We just did a handshake. That's not the way it worked. I know we wanted to work that way. It used to work like that in the old days. Houston didn't have to be no paperwork. But right now, litigation at an all-time high. People need money, you know, now, right? So you could be a come up for a lot of people, right? So again, whether it's your subcontractors or whether it's your employees, you damn sure want to have them sign NDAs and non-compete, right? And they have to be NDAs and non-compete that stick. I mean, it's a lot of stuff on the internet, a lot of this and that, right? But you have to have something that'll stick, right? That to stand up in a court of law, right? So again, you should definitely work on that. I'm not trying to scare you guys and prevent you from hiring anybody or subcontractors and employees, but I want you to protect your business, okay? Because it's amazing how you work 30, days in, 60 days in, 120 days in, and you get this one contract, you get this two contract, it's for $2,000, you think you're on the rise, and then the next thing you know, people get to stealing from you, right? People get to blackmailing you, right? People get to doing different things. They're getting too close to the client or figuring things out. How much does this site make, right? Well, damn, this site makes $2,000 and I'm getting paid $10 an hour. Well, hell, I can do this for a fraction of what you're paying them. Give it to me for $1,000, give it to me for $1,500, give it to me for $1,200, right? And I've had that happen to a lot of people, right? It almost happened to me at one point. If you watch some of my old videos, you heard me talk about where employees didn't try to slide under me, where a client didn't try to hire the employee went after the client, right? But I was smart. In my contract at the time, the contract that I was using, I had stipulations in there where the client couldn't hire the employee, and I had employees sign paperwork where they can't solicit my clients, okay? So the client, the way that worked is I had to remind the client what they signed, and I highlighted and I sent the agreement back to them showing what they signed, right? So the buzzer goes off their head, but the client was still willing to hire my employee. Jesus Christ. The client was still willing to hire my employee because when you got a substantial budget, the fees that I had in the contract for them, I guess they will be willing to pay it out. So what I had to do is go back to my employee. I remind them the NDAs and the non-competes and all of that they sign, paperwork that they sign. That's why it's so important. So when you do that to your employee, they realize these fees and they read it, they realize, and you highlight, the stipulations in there, they realize this is not what I want to do, right? I don't have lawyer fees. I don't want to do this. So at that particular time, the employee contacted the client and told him it was no deal. I still have that contract today. And that was some time ago. I don't even remember how many years ago, but it's a video on this channel where when it happened, I brought it to you guys. If you go back to the old videos, okay? Again, I was smart enough then, and I've only gotten better over time. Subcontractors. I know some people love subcontractors over employees. Same thing, haven't signed a subcontractor's agreement, a non-compete, okay, non-disclosure, okay? Whatever you have to do to protect the bag, you got to protect the bag, or protect the brand, right? Sometimes people put you in smear campaigns where you don't go one way. They want to go on Yelp. They want to go on these different sites and platforms and Googles and talk bad. It's only so much you can do. Every top company out here in the world has gotten bad reviews, or somebody that said something about us. You made one person mad. Okay, you can't please everybody. Try to clear up most, right? But if you can't clear up all, just don't worry about it. Business must go on, okay? Just don't let your complaints overshadow your success, your clients that love you, right? Don't let the bad overshadow the good, so to speak, okay? Again, so it's very, very important that you guys do this. Paperwork is a must, okay? Like I say, be very strategic when letting somebody go, when firing someone, and always be hiring, always be accepting applications, okay? Now, again, I suggest that you pick or choose which one you want to deal with. Either you want to have subcontractors or you want to have employees, okay? I have both now, but my subcontractors are people that do like painting jobs for me, do carpet cleaning jobs for me, specialty services for me, not just general cleaning, okay? General cleaning, I have W-2 employees, right? I have W-2 employees for just general cleaning. But for specialty jobs, painting, pest control, carpet cleaning, whatever, right? I have specialty people, companies that I hire, or people that I hire that's been doing it for 15, 20 years, or whatever the case is. And then they're on my team, right, of vendors or subcontractors. And we contract that job out. So they can go ahead and clean, or they can go ahead and paint, or carpet, or whatever it is that they're doing, okay? So again, guys, be very mindful who you're hiring. Okay, don't go out, don't socialize with your people, like I stated, because again, they're going to begin to not respect you at that point, because your relationship has gotten closer. So if it feels to them that they can do certain things that they wouldn't even try to do had they not built that closer relationship with you. But be approachable. Have an open door policy where they don't feel like I can't call such and such, or I can't, text such and such. You want them to have that open door policy to be able to ask you questions. Be very, very strategic what you tell them. You give, especially as a young company. I know you don't know what you don't know. A lot of people told me, hey, Fabio, I hired a subcontractor and I told them this. I say, why did you tell them that? They didn't need to know that, right? That's giving inside information about how you operate, right? So again, you got to be very strategic. All they need to know is where they need to clean, when they need to clean, what time they need to clean, how long the shift is over, training, right? Where you go in there and you physically show them how to clean this, the best ways to maneuver this, how to clean along the baseboards, right? How to do, mop, the strategic way to mop, how to mop under things without splashing water against the baseboard, splashing water against the wall, right? Changing dirty mop water, whatever the case is, how to clean a mop, whatever the case is. You train them on those things, okay? Because that's all that they need to know. That's all that they're doing for you. They do not need to know the administration part, how you get contracts, how much the contract makes. All they need to know is how much you're going to pay them. Whether you pay them by the hour or you have a flat fee that you just pay them, per job, however you decide to do it, okay? Now, lastly, and I'm going to end this video, I'm opening up 2 more spots for my coaching. 2 more spots, okay? And that's because I got an overwhelming response, okay? So 2 more spots for my $2,000 coaching that I'm giving it to you for $800. If you want it, email me right now, coaching in the subject headline, and let's take this conversation further. There's a lot that I could show you. There's a lot that I could teach you. There's a lot of resources that I have, right? It's a lot that a lot of other YouTubers are not even talking about that I'm aware of, right? But you got to get in my coaching to get it, okay? I'm gonna share everything that I know, even my mentors that's million-dollar players. I got 2 mentors that I report to on a monthly basis, million-dollar players that I reach up to for help, for assistance, and they give me a lot of strategic. And we also talk about investing, what to do with your profits when they come in, how to make your profits yield you more profit. Excuse the wind, guys, it's extremely windy out, but how to make your profits yield you more profits, okay? How to run your business on autopilot, how to start up, I don't care if you're already in business and you want to expand, or you just new to the industry and you want to start up, get in my coaching today. $800 is all you're gonna pay, okay? I'm only taking the next 2 people. The 2 people that say coaching in the headline or sign me up in the headline. I'll answer any questions that you have. You make sure you leave your name and telephone number. I will personally call you directly, Jasmine, to get it over to me, and we'll go ahead and get you set up. I'm Fabio Hart. The only person that could ever stop you from starting up your own dreams and making it to the top is you. Guys, take care and be safe.